Every June, California landlords leave an average of $1,800 on the table per unit by pricing from gut feel instead of live market data. And AB 1482 rent control math makes that mistake compound every single year. In the next 12 minutes, I'll show you the exact pricing stack smart landlords run before posting a single listing. You are losing money right now, and you don't even realize it. You think you're smart. You look at what your last tenant paid, add a little extra, maybe check a few Zillow listings, and call it a day. But under AB 1482, your initial rent is the permanent compounding base for that tenancy. One underpriced lease doesn't just cost you the difference for the first month. It costs you thousands over the full tenancy. Let's say you rent a unit for $2,500 when market rate was $2,700. That $200 per month difference is $2,400 per year. Now, factor in the AB 1482 cap, currently 5% plus CPI, but let's assume a consistent 8% for simplicity. In year 2, your $2,500 unit can only go to $2,700. Your correctly priced unit would have started at $2,700 and could go to $2,916. That gap widens every single year. Over a 5-year tenancy, that single $200 initial underpricing costs you over $12,000 in lost revenue. This isn't theoretical. This is the reality of California rent control. Your gut feeling is costing you a fortune. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most self-managing landlords anchor their peak season rent to what the last tenant paid plus a CPI guess. This is a fatal flaw. You are giving up your maximum defensible rent from day one. You need a data-driven approach. You need to establish a defensible market rate price, not just a guess. This requires a 3-source comp stack, and you can build it in under 30 minutes for free. First, use Zillow Rental Manager. Input your property details, and look at the median rent estimate for comparable properties in your immediate area. Note that number. Second, go to Rentometer. Enter your address, number of beds, baths, and it will give you a range, including the 90th percentile. That 90th percentile is your target. Finally, and most critically, manually identify 2 direct competitor listings. These are properties within a 1-mile radius, similar bed-bath count, similar amenities, and currently listed for rent. Pay attention to their features, photos, and most importantly, their price. Why 3 sources? Zillow gives you a broad brush. Rentometer zeroes in on the top end of the market, and direct competitors show you exactly what tenants are seeing right now. You are looking for a consensus, a tight range where these 3 sources overlap with the Rentometer 90th percentile as your upper bound. This process gives you a data-backed rent range, not a wish. This is how to price rental property, California 2025. But wait, there's a catch. Data is only as good as its recency and your ability to interpret it. You have your data-backed rent range. Now, how do you confirm demand without committing to a price and getting stuck with a 3-week vacancy? You run a 48-hour shadow listing test. Create a listing on Zillow Rental Manager, complete with your best photos and a detailed description, but mark it as unavailable or coming soon. Set your target rent at the higher end of your comp stack range, specifically targeting the Rentometer 90th percentile. Publish it. Then, for the next 48 hours, monitor the inquiries. How many messages are you getting? Are they serious inquiries or lowballers? Are people asking for showings immediately? If your inbox is blowing up, you've likely hit the sweet spot, or even slightly underpriced. If it's crickets, you might be pushing too high. This isn't about getting a tenant from this shadow listing. It's about measuring market temperature. This real-time feedback eliminates the gut feel guessing that causes landlords to underprice during peak demand, especially during peak leasing season rental pricing strategy. Every week of unnecessary June vacancy costs more than the annual delta between a correctly priced and an underpriced unit. This test gives you confidence in your price before you put it in front of serious applicants. Now that you have your market-tested peak season price, you need to understand its long-term implications under AB 1482. Your initial lease price is not just what you collect next month. It's the permanent ceiling for that tenancy compounded annually. Let's say your shadow listing test confirmed $2,800 is a defensible maximum legal market rate for your 2-bed, 1-bath unit in Sacramento. You set the rent at $2,800. For the next 12 months, that's $33,600. Under AB 1482 rent increase calculation, you can increase rent by 5% plus the percentage change in the cost of living index capped at 10%. Let's assume an 8% increase annually. In year 2, your rent can go to $3,024. Year 3, $3,265. Year 4, $3,526. Over a 5-year tenancy, that's nearly $170,000 in gross rent. If you had started at $2,600, just $200 less, your 5-year gross would be closer to $155,000. That's a $15,000 difference, directly attributable to your initial pricing decision. This isn't about greed, it's about maximizing your asset's potential within the legal framework. Overpricing past the 90th percentile comp also kills your applicant pool, leading to vacancy. The math shows a precise sweet spot. You've done the work. You've stacked your comps, run your shadow listing, and calculated your AB 1482 ceiling. Now it's time to go live. Your final rent price should be at the upper end of your confirmed market range, backed by your comp stack and validated by your shadow listing. Before you publish, double-check your listing. High-quality photos are non-negotiable. A detailed, benefit-oriented description that highlights unique features and local amenities is crucial. Ensure your application process is clear and compliant with fair housing laws. Respond to inquiries promptly, within hours, not days. The goal is to minimize vacancy drag. A rental vacancy cost calculator California will tell you that every day your unit sits empty, you're losing money. If your rent is $2,800, that's $93 per day. A week of vacancy is $651. Your goal is to attract the best tenant at the best price, and that means being responsive and professional. Your job is to set the maximum defensible rent, not the lowest. Key takeaways. Under AB 1482, your initial rent is the permanent compounding base. One underpriced lease costs you thousands over the full tenancy, not just month 1. A3 source comp stack, Zillow rental manager median, rentometer 90th percentile, and 2 direct competitor listings. Produces a defensible price range in under 30 minutes with no paid tools. A 48-hour shadow listing on Zillow, live but marked unavailable, lets you measure inquiry volume before committing to a price, eliminating the gut feel guessing that causes landlords to underprice during peak demand. Every week of unnecessary June vacancy costs more than the annual delta between a correctly priced and an underpriced unit. But overpricing past the 90th percentile comp also kills your applicant pool. The math shows a precise sweet spot, powered by LeaseBase intelligence.